Good evening everyone, my name is Jose Benito Monsanto. Today I will show you my cafe management system. First, for the frames, I created the different sizes of frames in the code. First, code creates a frame widget with specific dimensions and the border styles, and its positions at the top of the parent widget using the pack method. For the second code, the code is using the tkinter library in Python to create a complex layout of frame widgets within a parent widget. This code is creating a complex layout of nested frame widgets within a parent widget and is using the pack method to position each frame within its parent frame. For the third code, for this code right here, this code is the heading of the Ben Cafe system where I edit the font styles, row, and column. For the fourth code here, these functions, the first retrieves the quantity of each item from the corresponding widget. Each widget uses the get method and stores them in a separate variables named item 1 through item 16. Each of these variables is cast to float using the float function since the values are assumed to be entered as strings. The price of each item is then calculated by multiplying its corresponding quantity by its price. These prices are summed up to get the total price of drink and cakes, which are formatted into a string with a dollar sign using a str function. So for the fifth code, this code is to exit the program or not. So it will show you the question of do you want to quit or not. That's all. And for the sixth code, this code is a function that can be called and to reset the coffee shop billing application to its default state after each transaction. For the seventh code here, the code is designed to work with a graphical user interface created using a tkinter library, which provides a set of standard GUI elements such as buttons, labels, and text boxes. In this particular case, the code appears to be associated with a menu of coffee and cake items. It is a part of a larger program that creates a menu and coffee and cake items that allows user to select items and place order. For the eighth code, this is a code defining the function called receipt that is used to generate a receipt for a coffee shop. The function makes use of a tkinter GUI library to display the receipt on a GUI window on our cafe system. So for the ninth code here, this code initialized a multiple variables using the tkinter in Python, which is commonly used for creating GUI application. It creates a set of variables that will be used to keep on track of orders for the coffee management system, including the quantity of different items ordered and the date of the order. So, for the 10th code here, this code creates several check button widgets using the check button method of tkinter. Each check button has a different text label and is associated with a corresponding int variable and through variable 8 on the on value and off value parameters are set to 1 and 0 respectively, which means that when we When the check button is checked, the corresponding variable is set to 1. And when it's unchecked, the variables is set to 0. Each check button also has a command parameter to set check button value, which is a function that will be called whenever the state of the check button changes. Right here. So for the 11, the code uh, allows the user to select multiple cakes uh, multiple cakes by using check buttons. Each check button is defined using the check button function of the tkinter module. When a check button is clicked, check button value function is called, which updates the total cost of the selected cakes. The selected cakes are identified based on the values of the variables variable 9, var 10, var 11, etc., which are updated to 1 when the corresponding check button is checked and to 0 when it's unchecked. And so for the 12 code, this code creates a multiple entry widgets for the different coffee options available in the application. Each entry widget is associated with a text variable that will store the value entered by the user. Similarly, the other entry widgets are created for the different coffee options with their respective text variables and positions on the screen. So for the 13 code here, this code defines several entry widgets for the shop GUI's cake section. Each widget represents a different type of cake item and it's placed in a specific row and column in the GUI using the grid method. Each entry widget also has a text argument which is linked to a corresponding string var variable that is used to store the value entered by the user. So, for the 14th code, this code is a GUI that uses tkinter in the library in Python. It creates a label called LBL receipt and a text box called receipt txt receipt within a frame called ft2. The code creates two widgets, a label and a text widget, and positions them frame or ft2. Both widgets are then positioned with the parent frame using the grid method. The label widget is placed in row 0, column 0 with sticky options set to W or west, which means the widget will be left aligned within its grid cell. So for the 15 code, this code creates several label and entry widgets using the tkinter library in Python to display the cost of drinks, cost of cakes, and the service charge in a graphical user interface. Each label widget is created with the label function and assigned to a variable. So for the last code, this code defines and creates 4 buttons using the tkinter module Python, and 4 buttons are named btn total, btn reset, and btn exit. Each button also positioned in a specific row and column using the grid method. That's and for the I will run the system. So this I will check the latte and set it to 8. The for cappuccino I will set it for maybe 4, and cappuccino 7, and for the cake I will check the red velvet cake, I think 5, Lagos chocolate cake 9, and to display this uh, total, cost of drinks, cost of blah blah, etc. I will click this, and you will show the total of the check check name or variable. So if you want to display this on the receipt, this and the check names that you want, that just check this receipt it will show the quantity and price of your check variable names and the cost of drinks, cost of cakes, and service charge. And if you want to reset the receipt, just click this button right here, the reset. And that's all. Thank you.